Welcome back. You're watching The Globe. Now, rare newborn twin baby elephants have given conservationists some hope in keeping the endangered species. Conservationists in Kenya's Samburu Reserve hope that the birth will enable animals a survival chance. Now, the pair born this week is only the second set of twin calves ever encountered by the local charity Save the Elephants.
The reserve guides caught a rare sighting of a mother elephant and her newborn baby twins on camera on Monday. Bora, mother of the twins, is herself 16 years old. Save the Elephants, which has been monitoring the behavior and movements of elephants in Samburu for 28 years, says that the twins are rarely encountered in elephant populations and the mothers do not have enough milk to support both calves. The birth of twins has only been recorded once before in the park in 2006. In that case, both calves died shortly after birth. At about 22 months, the African elephant has the longest gestation period of any living mammal and gives birth approximately every 4 years. Elephants in Kenya and other sub-Saharan African countries have increasingly fallen prey to poachers who kill them to feed Asian demand for ivory for use in folk medicines. But Kenya's tourism industry said in 2020 that elephant numbers in the country had more than doubled thanks to increased anti-poaching efforts to 34,000 in 2018 from 16,000 in 1989.
It is indeed a rare and remarkable thing that we're witnessing. And to tell us a little bit more about this, we're now joined by the founder of Save the Elephants, Ian Douglas Hamilton. Thank you so much indeed for joining us. I guess this is a pretty exciting time for someone who follows elephants and cares so much about them. This is the first time since 2006, I believe.
Yes, it is for Samburu. Although I did see some a long time ago in 1976. We had twin elephants that were born in Lake Manyara National Park in Tanzania. That was the first time it was recorded in a big way. But it is a very rare event, and it's a really nice boost to our morale coming at the end of the huge amount of poaching that we've had of elephants for ivory. So we're very encouraged, and we're hoping that actually these elephants will survive because the rains have been quite good and it's green. It all depends on whether the mother can find enough food to make her milk, because quite often when twins get born, one of them dies or even both of them die. But we're cautiously optimistic.
Is there no way that you as humans can intervene and feed the children, the calves?
You know, it'd be difficult because one would have to capture them and then feed them from a bottle. And I think that would probably diminish their chances rather than improve it. So I think they have to take their chances in the wild. And I'm sure that the mother will do all that she possibly can to keep them alive. And we're going to be watching them at Save the Elephants. Our teams are out there looking for them now. They do tend to disappear, especially when the rains are good. The mother disperses to go and look at good vegetation and eat it. But we're keeping in touch.
How do the herds react to the birth of twins? I mean, it's unusual for them as well, I guess.
It is unusual. You know, every birth of an elephant is a special occasion in elephant life. The family gets very excited about it. They trumpet, they mill around, all the mature females come and touch the calf, and they get very excited indeed. And it's a big event. So twins, of course, is even more because there's two of them. And the elephants really get very happy about it.
Do the calves know that, you know, that their brother and sister or brothers, that they do belong to one mother?
You know, that's a very difficult question to answer because it's such a rare event. But all I can say is that they're both feeding from the same mother, and actually they can be a little competitive about getting to the nipple in time to get a good drink. But with any luck, if there's plenty of milk for the mother, if she can get enough food, she should be able to keep them alive.
All right, so how long will it take before you start to have a measure of comfort that they're going to make it?
Gosh, I would think probably a couple of months.
Right.
But, you know, it's a hard life up there in the north of Kenya, and very often it's very dry. There's often a drought. We've just been through a drought, which has just come to an end, fortunately. So at the moment, things are nice and green, and what they really need is that fresh green grass immediately after the rains. They need all the special nutrients that come at that time of year. And most of the calves do get born in the maximum period where the most food is around, shortly after the rains.
And they are big animals, so the amount of food that they need, I mean, it's enormous, and this is the problem, I guess.
Yes, but for the first month, they'll be totally dependent on the mother and her milk. And of course, it's a big stress on any mammal to have a baby, and that applies to elephants with a baby that has to consume a great deal of milk. So for the mother, it's an extra stress to have two calves. And it's not very often that twins come along. It's thought to be about 1 in 100 births produces twins, but it may be even more than that. The instances are fairly few and far between, so we don't have a really good idea. But it's probably much the same as human beings. Human beings have twins about once in every 250 births.
Is the birth of twins a little bit more complicated for the elephants, or one pops out and then the other comes out and that's it?
Pretty much. I mean, the elephants are pretty amazing at giving birth. They stop for a little while, and we've seen quite a few births happen. It's an extraordinary experience, and usually the mother is surrounded by other members of the family who take a great interest in the birth, and they trumpet and rumble and surround her. They go into sort of pandemonium of making noise to each other because they get very excited by a birth. It's a big event, and of course they all join in protecting the baby, and they will do so for months to come. So the baby is born into a forest of trunks and legs, and is well looked after against predators and other animals.
One gets the sense that the mother is the primary caregiver. Is there a role for the father, though?
The role of the father is to inseminate the mother.
That's it.
Yes, pretty much.
And then she's all on her own after that.
Well, she's not on her own because she's with the family, and they have these very tight family units. But the family units are mothers and their immature offspring.
Right.
And they band together, and they defend together, and they look after the calves, and they travel together. And actually, it's quite interesting that calves are expected pretty much to keep up from the moment of birth.
Wow.
Maybe just 24 hours where the baby is given a little bit of leeway, but then they have to keep up. And the mother will attend to a baby if it gets left behind, but very shortly after birth, they then have to keep up or get left behind.
If I heard you properly, are you saying that after about a month or so, then they start weaning off breastfeeding and start eating solids?
Well, no, it's a bit longer than that.
Yeah.
They start eating little bits of food, but they won't get weaned until they're about 3 years old.
Wow.
And actually, I've seen calves which still are suckling at the age of 6 years old. Wow. And sometimes if you have babies of different ages, you get one calf maybe of 6 years old still suckling when there's a baby that's 3 or 4 years younger.
All right, I mean, this is, as you say, an inspiring story, but, you know, Kenya has been doing really well in terms of trying to save the elephants. Just from that package, we heard that the numbers have doubled in the last, since, was it 2018?
Well, you know, numbers
Yeah.
are tricky things because there's always a certain amount of error in counts. But there's no question that the worst of the killing stopped about 5 years ago. And before that, we were seriously worried that elephants might not survive in Kenya because the intensity of the ivory killing was so high. But that's changed a great deal, largely because the Kenya government and the Kenya public in particular have taken a very serious view about their elephants, and they are protecting them better now, but also because China has stopped buying ivory, and China was the biggest market. So that was a huge change in elephant world when the Chinese decided that they were going to ban ivory imports. And they banned both international imports, and they even shut down their own domestic trade, which was being used as a smokescreen for illegal ivory. So that was a huge difference, and thank goodness it happened, because it looked very bad 10 years ago.
Are you winning in other parts of the continent?
Not everywhere, but in East and Southern Africa, yes, things are a lot better. But now the problem is that human beings and elephants both need a lot of land. Human beings are increasing and development is increasing, which is a good thing, but it does cause conflict between human beings and elephants. So we're trying to convert human-elephant conflict into human-elephant coexistence. And I think the auguries are quite good because there's a much more sympathetic public, at least in Kenya and in other parts of Africa. People are beginning to appreciate their natural heritage and to take steps to secure a future for it. So that's what we're trying to do at Save the Elephants. We're trying to work with people at all levels to guarantee both human development and elephant survival.
I'm pretty sure that the best thing is to leave these elephants, these herds, the mom and their children to their own devices, and they'll just find a way to figure things out. But I suppose as interested parties, conservationists, you observe from a distance. What do you want to see, or what will you be looking out for in particular about these twins? Because this is something you hardly ever see.
I think the first thing is survival. If they can make it for their first year or couple of years, then they're liable to have a much greater chance of survival. And then we'll follow them and see how they do. It's been very rare for anybody to follow twins into the future, but we do look at individual elephant behavior. We have about 300 elephants we know extremely well, and we've been recording them for the last, it's now about 25 years that we've been doing this up in northern Kenya. We have a very, very detailed record of family life, and we radio track them, we follow them around, we look for the corridors that they need to move from one safe haven to another, and we look at the overall picture of how they're going to survive within the protected areas and in the other areas that they need to go. So really this question of how human beings and elephants can coexist is the crucial one that has to be settled for the future of elephants. And I think they represent so much of nature, and we know now that there's such a crisis of survival for endangered species and complicated by climate change. There's enough challenges to go around to last us for the rest of our lifetimes.
Ian Douglas Hamilton, we're going to have to leave it there, but thanks very, very much indeed for your time and to give us a little bit more on this amazing, amazing story, these twins that have been born, and we hope for the best. But in the meantime, please keep up the good work. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.